Welcome to This Week from Blue Mountain Broadcasting. I'm your host, Linnell Ellis, president of Blue Mountain Broadcasting Association. And today on the show, we are going to be talking with our station manager, Lowell Mann. And Lowell has some very special things to show you. So please stay tuned for that. And I'm so glad that you've tuned in for the show today. Let's start with our devotional thought. Have you ever felt like things weren't going very well for you? Have you had some losses and disappointments? Well, this year and a half, there have been a lot of losses. Loss of income, loss of jobs, loss of health, loss of loved ones, loss of freedoms, loss of social experiences. We have all been experiencing losses and disappointments of various kinds. But I bet none of us have experienced the kind of loss that Job in the Bible experienced. In one day, he lost almost everything and everyone that was important to him. Our family is reading through the book of Job right now. The introduction to the story is very dramatic. Job loses everything at once. He learns about these tragedies through several messengers who bring him the news. Let's read about it from Job chapter 1. One day, when Job's sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, a messenger came to Job and said, "The oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabeans attacked and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, "The fire of God fell from the heavens and burned up the sheep and the servants, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, "The Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties and swept down on your camels and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you." While he was still speaking, yet another messenger came and said, "Your sons and your daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the 4 corners of the house. It collapsed on them, and they are dead. And I am the only one who escaped to tell you." Wow! What is going on here? Why does God let all these terrible things happen all at once to Job? Well, the book of Job is really a gift to us. It's a gift to us because it tries to help us understand why bad things happen. One thing we know for sure, there is an enemy behind the evil that is happening to Job and that is happening in the world. The book of Job draws back the curtain and lets us see a little bit of what's happening in the controversy between God and Satan, as God seeks to show the universe his character of love. Let's take a look at the conversation that goes on between God and Satan just before these calamities happened to Job. One day, the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also with them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." Does Job fear God for nothing? Satan replied. "Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You've blessed the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But now, stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." The Lord said to Satan, "Very well then, everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself do not lay a finger." So Satan is the one behind the evil that comes to Job. It isn't God who's doing these things. Now, we have to wonder what Job's reaction to the tragedies is. Yes, he is upset. He's devastated. Here's what he does. At this, Job got up and tore his clothes and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground in worship and said, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. Now, Job is an amazing character. He keeps trusting and loving God even when all is going wrong in his life. Hearing about Job's incredible faith makes me pause to think, how do I respond when things aren't going the way I like? Or when I have losses? Or when I'm discouraged? When I'm honest with myself, I can see that I often grumble or complain. Now, don't get me wrong, I do think it's fine to grieve and to be sad when we have losses of various kinds. Grieving is important, but grumbling and complaining, not so good. Trusting God to take me through the tough times is what's important. Clinging to Him, to no matter what is happening, is the best thing to do. There is an enemy at work, and I don't want to give the enemy any ground. Instead, I want to turn to Jesus, ask Him for strength to get through whatever is going on in my world, and as Job did, let the name of the Lord be praised. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Joining me now is our station manager, Lowell Mann. And Lowell, it's really great to have you on the show today.
Well, I'm glad to be back.
Especially good because we have some show and tell here.
We certainly do.
And I see some equipment. Maybe we can bring this one up here onto the table while we're talking about it. But we have 3 cameras here. What's going on with this?
So back in, I think it was March, we had a fundraiser for field equipment.
Yes.
This isn't stuff that goes into the studio, but into the field. And so we had the fundraiser, we raised some money, and this is the result of
those gifts.
Those gifts.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Now this isn't everything, because there's extra batteries, there's some lights, there's a few extra record cards and little things that go with it. I mean, you can't use a camera if you don't have a card to record
on. Sure. And of course you need lighting, especially in certain situations outdoors.
Absolutely.
So these are meant to take out either outdoors or to remote locations where we don't have our studio. So they can be used indoors or outdoors, but when we say in the field, we mean
we're talking about out,
not in our studio.
Not in our studio, absolutely. So all 3 are the same camera. That's
really important.
Really important. That way you can get your color to match between all three of the cameras. There's Sony A7 II, I think is the model that we went with. There's different lenses on different ones so that we can get different settings. Sometimes you need a wide angle, sometimes you need a telephoto.
Kind of this one zooms in. Well, it's not a zoom lens, but it's a telephoto.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a heavy lens, I'm also noting picking it up. But so we were as economical as possible with the purchase of this field equipment. Tell us about that.
Because they have a newer model of these cameras out.
One newer.
Yeah, one newer, and they're brand new. They're about $4,500. We didn't quite have the funds, so we went with some older, the model back. They're used, really good cameras, solid camera. Just a few less bells and whistles than the new one, but to be honest, it's adequate for what our needs are.
Yeah, actually, it's a great camera, really reputable camera, and being just one generation old is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think we know that even from purchasing cell phones and stuff like that. If you can get a great model technologically, even if it's not the latest one. So
yeah, but if you go back 5 generations, then
Yeah, that would be
then
different.
technology gets old. And so this camera is on a stabilizer. So
Yes.
Daniel has been, our production manager, has really been playing with this, but it's supposedly so that we can see if it'll work properly, so that we can move and follow people if we're doing something out. So it's,
there's a lot of settings on there that you
Yeah.
get it to get it just stable for its weight and that sort of thing.
it takes a bit to get it all. I think we're going to leave it on here so we don't have to do that again. But yeah, it's very, very helpful. And I know Daniel has been playing with all the settings because there's all sorts of different things that this camera
This is
can
nice
do.
too because it forms a little tripod, so you
Yeah.
can set it down on a surface, and then those just fold in, so you can grip it and.
Because if you
Yeah.
didn't, then you got to lay it down, and that's not cool.
It's really great. It's
Yeah.
so good to have those stabilizers. We're used to in production now that we're used to those moving images that stay very stable.
And we can do that with
We can
this.
do it.
Yeah.
So really great. So thank you again. We're super excited about these 3 new cameras and what we'll be able to do with them as we get field footage. In fact, it's kind of a dream of mine to take this show a little bit more on the road and not always be in the studio. So this equipment would help us do that as well.
And we had a behind-the-scenes issue about a month ago when we were filming the show. We had issues with our studio equipment, so we had to bring in all of our equipment. And believe it or not, we actually shot it on cell phones.
Yeah, we did. We did
Couple
this
cell
whole show
phones
on a couple cell phones.
So the quality of images across the shots wasn't all that great.
Didn't match.
It didn't match as well as we would like. So this, if we had had this at that point, it would have been a huge benefit.
Yes. So anyway, we are really glad to have these, and I've got a few other things I want to talk to you about too.
Yeah.
Actually, while we're talking about equipment, let's talk about one of the big resources we have for finding out about what's the best equipment in broadcasting these days, what's the most economical. And this, it's a show at the
Correct.
National Association of Broadcasters, NAB,
Yeah,
we call it.
we call it NAB, and I mentioned NAB to somebody the other day. What does that stand for?
And you have to think for a second.
Yeah,
Oh,
National
yeah.
Association of Broadcasters.
Yes.
It's a big convention. It's in April every year in Las Vegas. COVID last year shut it down. This year they weren't quite sure how things were going to go, and so they moved it to October of this year.
Yes, so it's coming up actually
Yeah,
here in a
it's
little over
sort
a
of-
month. And we do have representatives from the station
Yeah.
going to NAB.
And get your walking legs out because you do a lot of walking. There's anybody from cameras to automation systems to lights to you name it. Anything in the broadcast world, they are there.
The vendors are
The
all
vendors
there.
are-
They're
yeah.
talking about what's the newest, what are the newest things. It's a great place to compare products and actually see them in use and
Yeah.
maybe get hands-on and try some things out. See what would be best for our new facility.
Yeah, and you can look at several different cameras
And compare
from say Hitachi or
Panasonic, Sony,
Panasonic, Ikegami, Sony, you name it, they're all there. Canon, yeah. And Fujinon lenses,
Yes.
Canon lenses, you name it, it's there. And when we purchased our recent automation system, we went looking at a whole bunch of automation systems there at NAB, trying to figure out what was best.
And also, the vendors there are fairly motivated to try to offer you good deals. There's a lot of competition happening sort of naturally in that environment, so it's a good chance to also see what the best deal you can get from the various vendors is.
Yeah. Sometimes they don't even want to take the stuff home, so they offer it at reduced prices so that they don't have to take it back to their shop in California or wherever they're from. So.
Yes. So we do know that several of our engineering types from the station, some personnel, are going to be headed to NAB in October. So that's something I think for our viewers to keep in mind and keep in prayer too, because it's a really important time for us to assess and make some good decisions about equipment, and also the opportunity to get some good deals on equipment.
Yeah,
So.
and we've got our new facility that we're wanting to outfit. So this is a good time to go in and look at all of the gear that's needed, everything from lights to cameras to switchers.
All of it. They have it all there because it's all about broadcast, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
Yeah, really important, and that's going to be taking place in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
So
October 10 to 13, I think.
yes. All right. Also, we have some other things coming up here at the station that I wanted to just have the opportunity to talk with you a little more than my sort of bullet point reporting during station news. We're wanting to appreciate our donors and volunteers. What are we doing for them this year?
Well, normally what we do is we have a big banquet. We bring them all in, we feed them, and we have a small report of what's happening at Blue Mountain Television. We've talked with a few of our volunteers and don't spend all that money on
the
us.
food.
Yeah, on
Yes.
the food. We're supporting the station. We want you to be frugal with what. So we're doing something a little bit different this year. We're on September 19, we're having a come and go at our new facility event for all of our volunteers, that they can come out. We have appreciation gifts for each one, small gifts,
Yes.
certificates, and the like, and then they can tour the facility.
There'll be some light refreshments
Yeah.
as well. Yes.
Thank you. I forgot about that. Yes, there's some light refreshments, some cakes, some punch, those types of things. And then we'll have a few videos playing throughout the facility so they can see certain things.
Yeah, these will be really informative videos. I'm looking forward to seeing them myself,
Yeah.
actually.
And we had our open house back in April. With our anniversary there, and some things have changed. So our donors are going to come out and get to see what has changed, what new things have taken place out there at the new facility. And it'll be exciting. And this gear that we've just talked about, we're going to have it set up like a little studio that they can sit and see themselves on the monitor like they're on TV and those types of things. So
It'll be fun.
Yeah,
It'll be fun to see the progress that's being made too.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So it's a come and go event, September 19. I believe it's 4 to 7. It's a Sunday afternoon, and so we're looking forward to all of our volunteers coming out. And
Okay, and this is by invitation. Yes.
So
Okay, we should probably make sure
yeah.
that people know that it's not quite like the open house. That was
yeah.
just open to anyone who wanted to come.
Correct.
This will be for donors at a certain level,
which
right?
I don't remember what that level is right off the top of my head.
And then also those who've been volunteering their time.
Correct. And so look for an invitation in the mailbox because it will be coming. I think Carmen had them all set and ready to go, but they'll be mailed out here shortly. We didn't want to send them out 2 months in advance and people forget. So they should be coming out here in the next couple weeks.
All right. Great. Well, I'm really looking forward to that event. I know those of us who are on the board of directors, we're going to be there just to chat and with people and get to see some good things. Volunteers are pretty important to Blue Mountain Television.
Absolutely.
So honoring them along with the donors is really meaningful to us. Maybe you could say just a little bit about why they're so important at the station.
Well, you look at how many people we have as paid staff. If Daniel, Carmen, and myself had to do everything at Blue Mountain Television.
Not possible.
It's just not possible. We have people coming in doing master control, setting all that up so that we can see that. We have IT stuff, engineering stuff, getting stuff. Jim has been working feverishly on getting stuff moved from the current location to the new one, working on that link from Village Church, which has been
troublesome.
Very troublesome, and we've been working on it heavily this week as well. So we need that, and then we got people stuffing envelopes. We've got
whenever we have events, we have people who volunteer to help with food and all kind of. We have people who go over and take care of landscaping issues at our new facility.
I mean, we had I think you reported it last week, a whole bunch of people come out ripping out some carpet and getting everything ready for some construction.
Yes.
I mean, we could not survive without volunteers.
They are really important.
Ever grateful to all of those people that have supported this ministry with their time.
And speaking of the new facility, one of the most recent changes is that we now have a bare floor in the studio ready to be used for its purpose.
The carpet came out, and I believe we have a volunteer going in and sanding that down, getting all that glue off. And as I understand, it is looking really good out there.
I know. I'm actually I've got the key in my purse. I just need to
go take
find
a
a moment to go look at it because Jim sent me a little. Jim Forsyth, our secretary of the board and big volunteer, sent me a little notice that I should go look. So
it's looking good, as I understand. I'm right in the same boat. I need to go take a look as well.
Yes. All right. Well, Lowell, I just want to thank you for giving us these updates. It's always good to chat with the station manager once in a while, and also this peek at the new equipment was really a treat. Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Time for station news. I want to remind you that Blue Mountain Television is going to be at the Walla Walla Fair and Frontier Days. That's September 1 through 5. We'll be there all the hours that the fair is open, and we'll have our booth in the pavilion area, and we are really looking forward to seeing you there. It's so fun for us to actually connect with our viewers. So we're going to have various members from the board and our volunteers and staff who will be taking shifts there at the fair table and booth. And we're looking forward to chatting with you and meeting you at the fair. So please come by and see us while you're at the fair. I think our whole community is really excited that we get to have the fair this year after not having one last year. It's a special time for our community and looking forward to seeing you there. Also, you've just heard a lot of great updates from our station manager, Lowell Mann, as he shared with us about new things happening at the facility, like the floor getting ready for the studio, like our appreciation event coming up, and the new equipment that we were just able to purchase for using out in the field, and that is thanks to you. So again, I just want to add my thank you to you, because everything that happens here at Blue Mountain Broadcasting Association is because of your support. It's totally viewer supported. So we thank you because you're praying for the station, you're giving your time, you're giving your financial gifts, and you're making it happen. Our community thanks you. And so just wanted to encourage you again, let you know that as we're kind of coming toward the end of summer here, funds are often a little bit low in summer, and that has been the case this year as well. So we would love for a special gift from you that would help boost our finances up. We've kind of got two areas where we need help. One is in our plain, regular, day-to-day operations of the station. And that's really important, keeping the station on the air with a programming that you're enjoying. So giving to the daily operating budget, very important. And then also we have the funds that we are specially raising and using for our move to the new facility on Wallula Avenue. So we need your gifts toward that as well. Be sure to mark your gift when you send it in so we know how to use it. And we are really looking forward to our move and toward the progress that we're making with that, and toward providing you with even better programming here on the station as these funds come in. Again, thanks for your support, your prayers, and your gifts. I'll see you next time.